The Strait of Hormuz is 21 nautical miles wide at its narrowest point. Every day, roughly 20% of the world's traded oil moves through it. Iran has spent decades building the weapons to close it. Coastal missile batteries, fast attack boat swarms, mine-laying submarines, a system designed to make any navy think twice before entering. And yet, the strait stays open. Not because Iran lacks the capability to threaten it, not because the United States has more ships in the water, because the Navy understood something Iran's planners keep running the numbers on and keep losing, something that has nothing to do with tonnage, nothing to do with missile count, and everything to do with a sequence so complete that firing was never the point. What you're about to hear is not a ship count. It is the physics of how a navy wins before the first weapon leaves its tube. We show you the sequence. Iran did not build a simple maritime threat. Iran built a system. The Noor anti-ship missile carries a 165-kilogram warhead and reaches 120 kilometers from its launch site, covering the strait's entire width 3 times over from a single battery. The Qadr extends that range further. The Yono-class midget submarine can seed a shipping lane with mines overnight and return to port before daylight. Open-source estimates place Iran's mine inventory between 2,000 and 5,000 units. A single confirmed mine sends war risk premiums across the Lloyd's market within hours. Tanker owners rewrote. The global oil price reacts before a single ship is hit. Iran's fast attack boat doctrine, Paykap and Hudum-class craft, engineered for saturation, not firepower superiority, forces a defending warship to prioritize, sequence, and make choices under time pressure. The IRGC Navy has rehearsed this repeatedly. The doctrine is not a secret. Iran wants it understood. 40 years of studying every American response to maritime pressure in confined water. 40 years of building a system for this geography, this choke point, this 21-mile gap. Respect that. Because if you don't understand the weight of what Iran constructed, you will never understand the precision required to hold it in check without ever pulling a trigger. The Navy does not hold Hormuz by being willing to destroy Iran's fleet. It holds the strait by making Iran unwilling to test whether it can. A purely kinetic approach would invite the exact engagement Iran's swarm doctrine was designed to exploit. The Navy chose a different fight. What it built operates across 4 layers. Each one creates the conditions for the next. Remove any single layer, and the calculation Iran runs every morning starts returning a different answer. The layers are not independent capabilities. They are a sequence. The first is electromagnetic awareness. The Navy sees every Iranian asset before any Iranian commander finishes his morning brief. The second is positioning geometry. The carrier strike group sits outside Iran's coastal missile range, while every Iranian asset sits inside the air wing's strike radius. The third is electronic warfare dominance. When an Iranian battery attempts to lock a fire control radar onto a coalition ship, something happens to that radar before the solution completes. The fourth is pre-planned strike architecture. Tomahawk target packages already loaded in VLS cells aboard Arleigh Burke destroyers. Coordinates confirmed. Release authority delegated. Weapons waiting not to be aimed, but to be released. Reverse any 2 layers and Iran tests the strait. Skip one and the sequence fails. The exact parameters are classified. The physics is not. Right now, above the Gulf of Oman, an E-2D Advanced Hawkeye orbits in a slow racetrack. It's APS-145. Radar scanning 6 million cubic miles of airspace and tracking more than 2,000 contacts simultaneously. Every fast attack boat leaving Bandar Abbas. Every coastal radar that powers up along the northern shore. every aircraft departing an IRGC airfield within 300 nautical miles. All of it flows in real time to the strike group below. P8. A Poseidon aircraft run coordinated search patterns across the Gulf's shallow floor. Sonobuoys, magnetic anomaly detection, anti-submarine torpedoes, tracking every Yono-class submarine position continuously. MQ-4C. Triton unmanned systems extend coverage further, on station more than 24 hours without recovery. An IRGC commander who moves his fast attack boats toward the northern shipping lane does not achieve surprise. He achieves observation. The swarm doctrine depends on one assumption, that the defender is caught reacting. Remove that assumption and the doctrine collapses into a targeting list. This is not a system the Navy activates during a crisis. It was running this morning. Every Iranian planner who opens a targeting folder knows the opening move of any operation is already a known data point in someone else's kill chain. Knowing where everything is solves half the problem. The other half is making sure Iran knows that you know. A carrier strike group in the Gulf of Oman sits roughly 200 nautical miles from Iran's coastline, just outside Noor battery range. The carrier's air wing reaches every Iranian coastal installation within 450 nautical miles. Iran can reach the strait. Iran cannot reach what controls it. The swarm doctrine depends on closing to weapons release range before point defenses can sequence through all threats. Against a ship inside a carrier strike group's envelope, with combat air patrol overhead and sensor coverage extending 300 nautical miles, the swarm becomes a targeting solution before the first boat clears the harbor. Then there is the trap Iran built for itself. A Yono submarine seeding the northern shipping lane overnight could trigger an oil price spike and force tanker rerouting without firing a conventional weapon. Until you look at the map. Karg Island, Bandar Imam Khomeini, Iran's primary export terminals, sit inside the Persian Gulf, EIA. Analyses estimate a sustained Hormuz closure would cost Iran's economy more per day than it would cost the global market to reroute. Iran would be mining its own revenue stream, test the Navy and lose the fleet, mine the strait and lose the export income. There is no correct answer. That is the definition of deterrence. In 2019, the IRGC moved fast attack boats toward coalition shipping and stood down. In 2023, IRGC vessels attempted to seize commercial tankers and were intercepted by USS McFall. Each time the calculation returned the same result. That pattern is not restraint. It is arithmetic. Before an Iranian battery commander can complete a targeting solution, something happens to his radar. The EA-18G Growler carries the AN/ALQ-249. Next-generation jammer, AESA arrays capable of focusing high-density electronic noise across specific frequency bands with precision earlier systems could not achieve. When a Growler crew locks onto a Noor battery's fire control frequency and transmits, the radar operator's display does not fill with clutter. It goes white. The radar is technically on. It is functionally blind. Here is where the kill chain runs backwards. The moment that battery transmits at fire control power, every passive sensor in the operational area receives the emission like a lighthouse beam across a dark harbor. The EA-18G geolocates the source and forwards coordinates via Link 16 without ever transmitting its own position. The Hunter system became the weapon that finds the hunter. The AGM-88G-AAR-GMER carries 3 seekers, passive radar homing that follows the beam, GPS-assisted inertial navigation that holds last known coordinates if the radar shuts down, and an active millimeter wave seeker that locates the physical hardware at terminal range regardless of transmission status. Range exceeds 150 nautical miles, launched from outside Iranian coastal missile range. Leave the radar on. The missile follows the beam and arrives in under 90 seconds. Turn it off. The missile navigates to last known coordinates, and the millimeter wave seeker finds the hardware anyway. Turn it on. You die by the beam. Turn it off. You die by the memory. There is no correct answer. Here is the detail that ties everything together. Before the first Growler powered up, before the first Hawkeye reached patrol altitude, something was already in position, already aimed, already waiting. Arleigh Burke destroyers in the Persian Gulf carry the Mark 41 VLS, 90 to 96 cells each. A portion are loaded with Block 5 Tomahawks, range exceeding 1,000 nautical miles, GPS-assisted inertial guidance, terrain contour matching across the flight path. The Block 5, a maritime strike variant confirmed capable of striking moving maritime targets. Every fast attack boat pen, every coastal battery revetment, every command node with coordinates in open-source satellite imagery, surveyed, confirmed, loaded into mission computers months before any crisis reached public awareness. The weapons were not waiting to be aimed. They were waiting to be released. The programming happened during a stateside deployment workup. The coordinates were confirmed during pre-deployment intelligence review. The release authority was delegated before the ship crossed into the Gulf. The crisis only determines whether the release order is transmitted. Remove any layer, and the architecture's permanence collapses. The sequence is complete before it begins. Every morning, 20% of the world's traded oil transits Hormuz. Every morning, Iran decides not to stop it. That decision is not voluntary. It is arithmetic. The strait is Iran's most powerful strategic asset. The architecture above exists for one purpose: to ensure that asset remains theoretical. What non-kinetic control of Hormuz produces is not a military outcome. It is a commercial one. Tanker captains file transit plans without rerouting. Cargo insurers price Hormuz at normal rates. The strait functions. Not because the threat is gone. Iran's batteries are still manned, its boats still fueled, its submarines still operational, but because the sequence that would neutralize all of them is already assembled, already aimed, and transparently so. Deterrence here does not work by hiding capability. It works by making capability legible. Iran has the fleet. Iran has the missiles. Iran has the geography. Iran does not have the sequence. Every naval power with a contested strait is watching. Some are redesigning coastal defense architecture. Some are investing in passive guidance systems. All of them are asking the same question. If this sequence holds Hormuz without firing, what strait operates on different physics? The answer is none of them, unless the adversary understands the sequence first and builds the architecture to break it before the geometry locks.